Hi, it's Gordon here with week 48 of 2012, a year with Mya-Moe Unscripted. And this week I'm going to talk about the radius fretboard. I'm going to tell you why we do it, how we do it, why it's a benefit, why other people don't do it in general, things like that. So first of all, let me show you what the radius fretboard is. If we take this instrument and you look down the fretboard, what you see is a very slight curve that goes in this direction. That same curve is mimicked by the saddle up here and by the nut down here. And for aesthetic reasons, you'll see our bridge has that same curve in it as well. It's a 12-inch radius curve. And we do it for playability, and especially for playing bar chords up the neck. When you make a bar chord, you're taking your finger, putting it across the fretboard on all the strings. And to do that, we want to have it not hurt your hand. So if you just relax your hand and hold it up like that, hold that finger up, you'll see that it has a very natural radius to it. And it's about a 12-inch radius, the same that's on our fretboards. If it's a flat fretboard, you have to hyperextend your finger like that, which first of all kind of hurts. It takes, after a while, it starts to be painful. And it also accentuates these little divots right here in our joints, which are perfect places for the strings to go and hide and make a bar chord sound buzzy. So that's why we put the radius fretboard on. Most stringed instruments have a radius fretboard. One example that does not, for instance, is the classical guitar. And a lot of the ukulele is patterned after a classical guitar. But in a classical guitar, most playing is done note by note, not bar chords. But you take instruments like guitar or a mandolin where you're playing chords and the fretboards are just nearly always radiused. Why not on the ukulele? Well, I think it's because of where the ukulele has come from. It's traditionally been this campfire folk instrument where not a lot of attention has been paid to features like a radius fretboard. I talked about this in an earlier video. Much of the playing early on was done with open chords up here around the nut. And only recently have people wanted to play all the way up the fretboard and with bar chords. And for that, you want an instrument that not only has great intonation, but is easy to play as you go up the neck. And that's why most ukuleles just traditionally have not had a radius fretboard. And because of that, most ukulele makers don't put a radius fretboard on. It's expensive and very time-consuming to put on a radius fretboard. Think about what it takes to get this very even radius all the way up and down the fretboard. When we started out, we bought very expensive, they're over $100 each. They're long aluminum bars that have a precision radius machined in the bottom of them. And we can put sticky back sandpaper on them. And that's how we, one by one, did our radius fretboards early on. We had a different bar for each one of our sandpaper grits, so we had 4 of them, and they were over $100 each. So it's a lot to invest, but more than that, it's a lot of time. I remember when it would take me, oh gosh, well, just a lot of time, if you can imagine, taking a flat fretboard and then sanding that radius into it, and doing that every day for every instrument. But now Ben Bonham, who does our tools and templates, has designed this great fixture that goes on top of a belt sander. I think someday I'm going to take the camera to his shop as one of the Unscripted videos, and I'm going to show you what he does over there with our tools and templates and parts. But he can mount a fretboard in this fixture, and on the belt sander he can sand the perfect radius, and then all we have to do is clean it up and sand to the higher grits. So that's how we put on the radius fretboard. I think it's one of the most important attributes of a Mya-Moe ukulele. I think that, as I've said all along, our great emphasis is playability first, then acoustics, then aesthetics. But the instrument has to feel good in your hands, and it has to be easy to play. And for us, I think that is the neck shape. It is the low action we're able to achieve because of the hand dressing of our frets. And it's the radius fretboard. And if I pick out just one of those things, I'm going to say the radius fretboard. People pick up our instrument and usually just say, gosh, it's just so easy to play, I don't want to put it down, and so forth. And that's why. So That's the Radius Fretboard, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week with another installation in our Unscripted series. Bye-bye.